There we go. Hello, everybody. It is April 7th.
2 days after.
2020.
2 days after the picnic in an alternate timeline.
That's right.
Man, what a great picnic that was in that alternate timeline.
Isn't it great? You know, we can use the devs machine to see what...
Oh, man, you got beef with devs.
It's Alex Garland. Alex Garland has a pedigree, a short but very good pedigree, right?
Garland, what would I know him from?
Annihilation?
Oh, yeah, no, Annihilation was
And
amazing.
Ex Machina?
Oh, yes, of course. Holy cow, yes.
The
For
problem...
some reason, I thought Devs was like a wacky comedy. You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of there's a couple of folks from the Always Sunny team doing that one about software developing with the video game.
Oh, right.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, you're not looking at that. Don't look at that.
There. How's that? Is that a little more?
Yeah.
A little bit more dramatic. Not quite so San Diego Morning News.
Yeah.
But not like this would be full on. I'm gonna read your mind.
Ooh.
Stop. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's too much. There you go. Yeah. Hey, there he is.
Still could probably use it dusting. I'm a bit shiny. I was out there in the back acreage walking around.
It's a little hot. It's still 81 out there.
Yeah. Should I turn down the AC in here? Or?
I turned it up a couple of degrees, so it stopped for the day. But I had it set at like 69 or so. So I could go either way.
Pop it a degree there.
Sure. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Night Attack Preshow. I'm Brian Brushwood over there. We're navigating you through the pre-show. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Oh, Mike TV Live. Thank you so much for the raid. It's Tuesday, April 7th. We had a long day.
Oh my gosh, was
today?
it just a week ago that we had Mike TV live in studio? That feels like a billion years.
Yeah. You guys been doing the hangover, the Night Attack hangover.
Or the happy hour.
Happy hour.
Yeah, that's what causes the hangover.
That's right.
Yeah.
This show is the hangover.
This show is the hangover. It's like we're like the unwanted pregnancy of the happy hour.
But I would like, have you? Like it went from 0 to full tilt.
Yeah.
With the happy hour, how are you feeling? You know, almost a week and a half into it.
I have thoughts on this. Also, before I forget,
Okay.
I forgot to upload the thing. Did the thing get uploaded? Okay,
I got it.
I thought you
Yeah.
did.
But you gotta make sure you do it.
There is a weird bliss that comes from permission to not be anything. Like there's only one goal from the beginning to the end of that hour, and that is keep the conversation alive. And once you don't have to be insightful, witty, have a particularly good story, you don't all of a sudden all of the things you've told before a million times are on the table, or just sort of listening to a bit of content or whatever. It's so easy that I loved it. And forgive me, was it yesterday that Justin on that stream was talking about how Brian has a tendency to skip both A and B and go straight to C? Was that?
I don't actually catch the happy hour too often.
Sure. I don't blame you. You live it. It's like if what you want is Brian not being funny and running his mouth off, there's no shortage. It's raining soup here at the at MRHQ.
I get a lot of Brian, so like I don't. Unless I hear that like there's something particularly interesting in it, I don't like even really watch Modern Rogue because I'm there at the shoots and you know I'm kind of plugged in enough. Well, but I wouldn't disagree with the sentiment that Justin said, which is that for as kind of extroverted as you are, sometimes the words that come out are already been triple processed.
Yes, I've already thought of the obvious thing to say, the obvious response to it, and now I'm all the way down to this is clever to say. Don't necessarily bother to catch everybody up.
Why did Brian just say farm fresh? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah, but actually that is pretty funny now that I know how we got there. But what happened was my college roommate, I guess, has been listening to the feed, and we talked about that decision of how we feel about putting it out on the main feed. I get the impression that a lot of people are just gobbling like more of this. Yes, I'll do it all day. Awesome. And in fact, he called me today specifically because of that comment that Justin made about how Brian has a tendency to skip A and B and go straight for C. And he told me, he was like, I was listening to it and it got to that part and he said, yeah, that's what I like about Brian. I should call him. And then he called me right in that moment. So if nothing else, it's a fantastic outreach program to all of my past roommates to encourage them to reach out to me and give a talk.
I got some roommates I'd like to talk to again.
Yeah.
Some maybe not. Some.
You know what's great about Bryce is you should call him right now.
Oh, my goodness. Man,
What Jane says Brian is 4 turtles down at every moment, and that's probably a legitimate. Some might say feature or bug.
4 turtles down. Is that another?
Definitely accurate.
I don't know 4 turtles down is
that is in the book. See, this is me skipping A and B and instantly getting the reference to C.
Yeah.
In Stephen Hawking's book, The Universe in a Nutshell, he opens with the apocryphal story of somebody in a science lecture talking about the Big Bang or whatever, and a woman stands up and says, that's a fine story, but I know that the entire universe sits on the back of a giant turtle. And so the scientist, thinking he's got her, says, oh, really? Well, what does that turtle stand on? And she goes, gotcha, another turtle. And then you're like, well, then what does that turtle stand on?
Yeah.
And she goes, it's turtles all the way down. And so that's where that phrase comes from. And so the idea is, turtles all the way down means it's a recursive argument that goes forever. And even though it's irrational and nonsensical, it cannot be defeated because it's turtles all the way down.
I love. So, when it comes to, say, metaphysical discussion, right? It tends to be pretty pretty sparse in terms of like concrete things, right? We don't tend
There's very few things that we know for absolute sure. Outside of Descartes, I think, therefore I am.
Right. We don't tend to think like the insinuation with turtles all the way down is that we live in a universe of infinite turtles and they are dramatically important to all continued life across the universe, which is very funny.
I was thinking about this recently with the whole popularity among wealthy intellectuals, the novel idea that we live in a simulation and that all of this is constructed. And I was like, you mean like by a god? And that everything is intelligently designed? Like it's funny, like the long way around this secular atheist to achieve the same result of just saying, God made it or whatever.
So I had 2 funny data points today. I'm gonna explain both these data points very quickly. So we did the Bizarre Briefing earlier today. You can check it on the Twitch VODs. It'll be on the feeds in the next 2 to 14 days. And one thing that Brant brought up is this website called Zooniverse, maybe? If anybody watched it, it is a thing called Zooniverse. I was trying to tell you, we were telling you about it a little bit over lunch.
It's all about the Microsoft Zune?
No, it's a site where, how there's like folding at home and SETI at home where your computer works stuff?
Yeah.
So this is more like a mechanical...
Distributed computing.
Yeah, this is more like a Mechanical Turk type of thing, where if you have some free time, they will train you to do a project on the web, and you just do it. So like, hey, look at these Petri dishes and tell us what you see. We have hundreds of thousands of photos of these Petri dishes.
He told me about this. This is fascinating. Keep going.
So, and we were talking about it a little bit, and it's like, you can use machine learning for some of this stuff, but it must be drastically easier to like just write a paragraph to a human and say, these are the things that we're looking for. These are the things that we noticed. Please just click the right buttons.
And granted, no one person can be relied upon to give the right answer, but 100 people, when 87 of them all agree this is a spiral galaxy versus a cluster galaxy, then almost certainly you could put it in machine learning category spiral galaxy.
Yeah, or you could say like, okay, we got a lot of conflicting answers to this, so we can have a scientist look at this a little more deeply. The other thing I saw is I was driving to go get some chicken before the stream right now. And,
galactic chicken.
Southern chicken.
Spiral chicken. Cluster chicken.
It did have a spiral galaxy.
Hard chicken. Jewish chickens. White chickens.
Dark meat chicken.
Thank you.
And,
I'm glad you got on board eventually. I just had to bully you into it.
That's because I didn't want to say the one thing I know. So, but I saw a billboard on the way there that said, creating the most advanced machines ever, or creating the most...
That billboard has gone through various clip arts.
Yeah.
And
so
I
the
can't
image...
decide which one I hate the least.
Oh, really?
Well, one is a woman climbing a cliff, and I believe the new one is a baby.
It's a baby. I like the
looks
baby.
Like it crawled out of the Matrix.
Yeah.
It looks like it might as well be a Borg baby. Like you're just waiting to see the
tube, the
back.
VR,
Yeah.
the VR strand. But it just made me go like, you know, because we have machine learning, we continue to expand upon what computers can do and learn and work. You know, we've talked on weird things about like, you know, they've got Google DeepMind, which can learn to walk, you know, in these simulations. And like, maybe humans are like it. Maybe like a version of humanity is it, right? Is the end point should be something that is easy to train, easy to use, easy to read the results of, easy to troubleshoot, and like a human or an organic being is very close. The only problem is that we live in the physical space, right? Like we have to click a button, we have to move our arms and get from place to place.
I used to, and this is a bit of a divergence here.
Sure.
I used to
My
really be
favorite of the
bummed
Maze
out
Runner
at the idea that there was no aliens
until
I saw. And I don't know that I even appreciated it at the time, but there was a Star Trek The Next Generation episode where they discover the precursor species that became the Vulcans, the Romulans, the Klingons, the humans, and all that stuff.
A primordial soup type thing.
Right. That's why everybody, you know, is just a human with a different plastic forehead on, right? But the answer that they came up with is there was a precursor species that is now extinct, but that is the missing link that came about.
Connects everybody, huh?
And then once I really realized it, and I think this was a good 5 or 10 years after that episode that I really digested it, I'm like, I'm comfortable with being that awesome precursor species. We're just first, and if we're first, cool. That'll be cool. We're going to become half robot, machine conscious beings, and we're going to send. All of a sudden, it's our job to bust out of this petri dish and infect everything.
Yeah,
I'm okay with us being the Borg.
yeah,
that's fine. That's fine.
Suddenly, a lot of supervillains get a lot more justified
once you realize you are them.
Yeah, right.
Certainly, we're the supervillains in COVID-19 story. They're the ones like, if only we could get past humans. They're not interacting with each other. It's as if they all know.
Yeah. It was a very funny to see those two data points, the billboard and talking about the Zooniverse thing, because it all that entire conversation. Yeah.
There are things I can't talk about because I signed an agreement not to talk about them.
Oh, okay.
But
I guess we could talk about the thing that we talked about early this morning, or this morning in the AM.
Go on.
The thing with the
Jack AM?
Well, a little later than that.
I mean, Kate Raft is coming on the show.
We're going to have Kate Raft on the show. It's great. We've got a celeb-based game just for her. That'll be good. No, we had that group call this morning.
Yeah. No. We could promote the hell out of that. 1 week from today, 1 week minus 2 hours, I believe.
I think we didn't even pick a date or a time yet.
And that's fine. I mean, basically just before Night Attack, right? So here's the thing. Here in Austin, as a matter of fact, if you search the news for Brian Brushwood KVUE, I believe you'll find the press release about it. A bunch of Austin media is coming together, and so far they've already raised, before the big push even begins, $3.5 million.
Yeah.
And this is all money that's going to go specifically to a United Way fund that so that
the money will
has
stay in
zero
Austin.
friction. Everything's gonna stay in Austin, and no charity is keeping any of it for themselves. Right. Everything is going directly to benefit people here locally.
Yeah.
And so broadcast is doing things, news media is doing things, and Josh Rubin, our friend, who is really dedicated to there being an Austin media scene, suggested, hey, we're the online, Web 2.0, for lack of a better word. We're the new media presence in Austin.
Yeah.
We should show up as well. And so I volunteered without telling Bryce. I waited over like 3 weeks to get around to telling. I didn't want Bryce to worry about it until it was actually a thing. And only after it became a thing did I tell Bryce. We volunteered to host an hour-long telethon. But the idea is right now a bunch of Austin's best and brightest, everything from Rooster Teeth and local media mavens we came up with a framework so that we could share a bunch of their content.
And so they're going to send in their favorite stories about Austin.
Yeah, and we're going to basically play a game of what is the most Austinist story. Now, Justin will immediately, when he gets on the line, figure out that what I've done is basically pitch them an episode of Night Attack. We have a game. Yeah. We have an excuse to tell stories.
We have a guest. You're going to rag on
points,
everybody.
It'll be money.
It'll be money,
and everybody will say, I'm on team whatever. Here's $5, what have you. Yeah. And then, but because it's all Austin themed, we're going to have a Cargill join me as co-host. And what's funny is I was like, well, I guess he can come on down and we could do this.
Yeah, I thought he would be in here. It'd be great as the two of you in person, the chemistry.
But then Josh was like, you know what? It would be a better look if he were to Skype in.
That is
true. And I was just like, if there's one thing I know he will absolutely love to hear is that Cargill can Skype in rather than dare to cross the river to get to the to the south side.
Yeah. So if you'd like to know a little bit more, they have the Media ATX Facebook page, facebook.com/groups/Media ATX. I think that will be the sort of source point for where the stream will be at.
That'll be where the live stream takes place, and there'll be some kind of donation page, and there'll be a little comments section where you just do hashtag team whatever of the stories that you're voting for.
It is the fund is called All Together ATX. So it's the United Way and the I just had it here, the Austin Community Foundation. So both of them are working together.
I do love the fact that it's a zero friction donation. Like all of it is going, nobody's keeping any of the money, and it makes it really easy to feel really good about putting out there.
Yeah. So, that Facebook page is going to have all the most up-to-date information. When we find out stuff, we'll tweet it as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it.
I'm glad you're into it. I didn't know how in love with the idea you'd be. I deliberately waited until after we did the live Scam Nation, and after we were both basking in the success of that, I was like, hey, you want to do this? You want to do this other thing that I've definitely already committed us to?
Well, and for me, I always am just thinking about like the technical stuff, and it will be a very easy to do.
I don't think I've told you how many people have I want to say a half dozen people have reached out, whether it's on Twitter, text, or email, to say how much value they got out of that Scam Nation breakdown of everything.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of tweets, and like outside of that, just like a number of people who we know who are having to do a lot more live streaming have like reached out to me in terms of like, hey, what do like I was on the phone with Andrew Heaton last week. Like Eileen, they're doing a bunch of stuff for Rotten Tomatoes, and she
no kidding, that's awesome.
Stuff. Yeah, so
you don't mind that I continue to obligate you to talk to all these people?
No, it's great. We were talking about it on the Bizarre Briefing, but it's like there's no. It is the opposite of trade secrets. Like they're obscure secrets. The only reason people don't know something with production is because it's not written anywhere. There are so many things that I know that I've either had to just like beat my head against a wall to figure out, or someone else has told me. But there are very few resources in terms of like how you actually do this stuff, how you like move on beyond just like, here's a very simple program and you turn it on and you do the like when you actually want to go to levels with that stuff, there's not a lot there.
Real quick, thank you very much, Rock Roll Martian. 1,000 bits. You're the bit boss.
Oh yeah, hold on, I got the
it's funny because what you're describing.
Okay, well, I can't turn them off when they're short clips, so.
It's funny that you mention that because I feel the same way when it comes to the storytelling side of things, and it's like somebody had an idea for a show, or oftentimes people say, I got an idea for a live stream or a YouTube series or a TV show or whatever, and it's like you can hear them saying it and you already know, no, but do this. And then it's like, you're like, why do I know that? And you're like, I guess I can find the words for it. And then you find it. But it's astonishing how much of that is just sort of fully internalized, and you just know if it's right or wrong, good idea, bad idea, what's the structure, it's missing this, it needs two of these, whatever.
Having done the happy hour, almost 10 times now, like, are you starting to get some of that latent knowledge kicked back in? Because previous to that, you hadn't done much of the live streaming on your own for a few years now.
Oh man, it's great to rebuild. This is going to the gym, and I know I would imagine that it might be agonizing to watch me do sloppy production, but understand. Just picture me on a treadmill or doing pull-ups or bench pressing or whatever, like I am redeveloping those muscles.
Yeah.
And it's great to have that playground environment where the only rule is
keep it up.
Keep it up. Yeah. And keep the connection real. Like, I don't think we've ever drifted into doing shtickla or whatever. We haven't always been funny. We haven't always done fresh things. We definitely did fresh shit. That whole like nipple catsuit tattoo.
What I loved is
like
in today's happy hour, you kept propositioning as alternative types of strip clubs, and each one was worse than the last. But you were presenting them as like, well, which one would you do? This one that I just said, or something way worse? Like,
by the way, the default one is regular strip club. Everything I proposed after that was worse from there. I liked the idea of fully nude strip club, only everybody had to be squatting at all times in a fairly unsexy way. Yeah. And so you had to spider walk with your arms over your head as you squatted while you're fully naked.
Oh my gosh. I'm now looking at the preview of us just doing that. It's very
that becomes a popular GIF, is the two of us. Yeah, the Zoidberg. That's what it is.
Zoidberg. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
By the way, I believe Josie is getting into Futurama.
Oh, no
as
kidding.
We speak. Yeah,
she would love that.
She watched a couple of episodes when we did our Disney trip, and she was like, "What was that show in the future?" And they looked like that. I was like, and
it was like a Bananarama.
Yeah, I told her. The first episode, the pilot, does a fairly fine job of setting up the universe. If you start at the beginning, you're not going to go wrong. You'll get it instantly.
And even then, like, the premise is pretty straightforward, right? Like, the worst thing you could do is like watch one of the movies that they cut up into seasons for some reason. Like, that would not be good because it's weird and serialized, and it's all inside
so
jokes.
Funny to me how into the painful stuff Josie is, because I told you that
stuff?
We started watching Rick and Morty, and she I think we described it on the happy hour. She was like, oh my gosh, the darkness and the humor, it's just mwah, chef's kiss, like her words.
Yeah.
And we watched like the Pickle Rick episode, and she's just like, what? And she gets that this is existential pain being worked out and so on.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Like, there's that new Netflix show coming out soon. It was our cold open for Cord Killers last week, I think. The Pendleton Ward and the Durcell, the podcaster guy.
Yeah.
They're kind of
that's a bad language. We had to cut that out.
It was an adult animated cartoon, but it looks like Adventure Time or a regular show. Like, I think like there is so much time and money spent into like making animation for kids,
right?
And now there is this burgeoning empire of making animation for adults, not like all ages, right? But like for adults, like specifically for adults. And I think with Netflix, we saw with Netflix kind of the opening of what, like, suddenly you don't have to bleep stuff, and so you just don't, and just more things have curse words in it.
Which, by the way, it's been really wild. Separate, maybe this is knocking you off course here, but really wild how over the last 10 years, we watched one set of curse words become fine to say in mixed company, to be fine to put in your art or whatever, and to see the introduction of a whole new set of curse words that even on this show that we like to pride ourselves on being transgressive, we will not be saying. like it's really bizarre.
Yeah, but you know,
which ones are those? Say the worst one first.
Sassafrassy.
No!
Yeah, right.
Dump it! Dump it!
The third N-word.
Wow. What's the second?
I can't even say any of them.
I guess you can't.
I can say the fourth N-word. It's nocturnal.
That's just.
Were we talking about Karen being a slur?
Oh, that's
is
right.
Karen a slur?
No, but that's the new thing. Angry white women at the Apple Store don't like it when you call them Karen.
What if their name's Karen?
Well, then they're the most upset about it, frankly.
It's like, hey, man, I just feel it very deeply. One might say I'm Karen. Never mind.
Yeah. No, I gotcha.
I don't know, man, like, why can't we just make up words to yell at each other? Isn't that like kind of the whole point of language, is that eventually some words go away and other words come back, and now we got all these words that we can't.
You and I have had a front row seat to the death of nuance, and intention seems like it should matter, but right now I believe we're in a pendulum swinging away from it, but we hit a moment where doesn't matter what you meant. All that matters is what you said. You are not a person who did this thing. You are this word for a person. And that's what you are, and that's the end of it.
So I would only quibble on this point because I think that we're describing the same phenomenon. But to me, that was always the case to someone. Someone felt, oh, I saw this person saying this thing and they were laughing in the wrong way, or I heard a rumor, I read a magazine article that this person did a thing, and now I forever am changed of my opinion about that person. But then you tell your friends, and your friends would be like, I don't know, I like Clint Eastwood. And then that would be that, right? Like now,
I would say
you are able to find literally everybody who shares that opinion, and now, because we are still getting used to the idea that everybody has different opinions, we are scared by that grouping more than we will be as we go forward. And we all understand that this is just what happens. This is people have opinions, and tides rise, tides fall. That's just what that is.
I'll tell you what gives me hope. Hope for the idea that no matter how unpopular or quote unquote bad your position is today, at some point in the future, it could be totally reversed, is Bill Gates. I wonder how many people watching now remember just how bad, universally, the entire world hated Bill Gates a scant 30 years ago.
I mean, yeah, he was the prototype. So for anybody who's like, fuck Zuckerberg or fuck Jack or whatever, like, they are all disciples in one way or another of the archetypes, the projected archetypes of publicly Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, and probably privately within their own worlds, like Larry Ellison, because Larry Ellison was more of the like, fuck everybody, like the rebel in the way that like a rock star would be a rebel, where like Bill Gates was like fucking gangster cold, like just absolute like Scarface level, mob boss level, detached from his humanity, right? Steve Jobs was mercurial but the artist, right? And then Ellison was kind of the rock star. But yeah, I think that like that's something where now people think of Bill Gates as like, oh, he's the good one. He's the good billionaire. because him and his wife, he put his wife's name on the foundation, and they together go and they do these things, and they're so smart.
Do you remember how awkward it felt and how clumsy and obvious an effort to win over hearts and minds it felt like when the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was founded? Like, I remember just being like, obvious respect grab much, am I right? And now here we are, like, they're legitimately one of the they've rightly earned a reputation as being one of the most do-goodest foundations on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the thing, just this week where they announced, like, we are spinning up 7 different factories to preemptively make vaccines while we are testing these vaccines, just in case one of them ends up testing correct. And once we find it, we will convert the other ones. We can trash the incorrect vaccines or whatever.
He also,
good God, that is not a cheap.
No. And normally that's the domain of drug companies, and drug companies. They're actually, Dr. Fauci was talking about this on one of the pressers recently, that this was a plan that they were already like working on. Was they take all of the promising vaccines that are going to like phase 2 testing, and you start mass producing all of them, because what normally happens is phase 2 testing happens, and then they figure out exactly which ones work, and then you start mass producing them. But once you've done that, you're like 6 months to a year away from when the vaccines really need to be there. We don't really have the option with that now. So they're pushing it forward as fast as possible. But Bill Gates stepping into that, to Brian's point, that's him doing the good billionaire thing in a way that we never would have thought, when he was just like doing due diligence on companies for Microsoft and then ripping off their tech and saying like, so sorry, loser, and brushing his hands.
Also, if we're really going to measure the do-good dick of Bill's do-good dick, new series I'm hosting.
Bill's do-good dick.
The biggest impact was he made it fashionable for the mega billionaires to try to outgive each other for charitable causes. He created this idea of new money, like, hey man, it's cool that you have a car with that name or whatever, but you know what I did? Cure malaria or what have you. Like that fashionable contest has benefited humanity 1,000-fold more than the actual money that he spent.
Yeah, I mean, and he's kind of rewritten what a charity should be doing, how efficient they should be operating, like how much money it should take to do X, Y, or Z, where they should spend their money, and the kind of technology they should use to do it.
And by the way, Ben Franklin rightly points out that contest, that dick measuring thing, has existed for years. The so-called robber barons of the 19th century, the Carnegies and so on. There was various iterations of this, but in my lifetime, there's only one trendsetter I could point to, and it was definitely Bill Gates. That everybody else is
now. You cannot forget the corruption.
Only one famous one, right? Because I'm sure that there are thousands of very, very rich people who put an obscene amount of money that we just don't hear about because either they don't have a high enough Q rating or they don't have good enough publicists.
Yeah, we still walk around and salute Mayor McCheese, and like that guy killed a dog, and
that motherfucker. Man.
And
you want to talk about corruption?
Walked away.
That dude, number one, cannibal. Eats hamburgers.
He eats hamburgers, and he is a cow. People don't know Mayor McCheese is a cow.
Wait, is he?
Yes.
Wait, canonically? Please let this be a thing. I guess he's made of cow.
Aren't we all made out of cow?
I'm made
cow dust?
Chicken.
Twarn't we all made of cow? Oh man. Yeah, fucking Bill Gates. Remember those weird ass commercials with him and Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh my God, those were weird. Bryce, do you have any memory of these?
No, but I do. I do remember that Microsoft at some point was just throwing money at, like, I remember there was like a whole Friends collaboration with Microsoft, right? Like,
I think you're conflating this exact campaign with Seinfeld. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
look
this
type in
up.
Bill Gates Seinfeld, and I want to say that it was recent enough that we covered it on Twit 10 years ago.
What?
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I remember watching it in Florida. So I mean, in the warehouse.
I do remember these commercials.
2008. There it is. Yeah.
Do you remember, Brian, what the product was?
No.
I want to say it was 7 or
Services?
Vista.
I think it's Vista. I would think it's Vista.
Oh, it's got to be Vista. It's got to be pre 7. 7 wasn't until, well, I remember 7 was the weird shout out that Alex Albrecht gave in that brief moment that they were on Jimmy Fallon with him and Kevin Rose. Kevin pulled out his Mac and people cheered, and then and Alex spent his moment saying, "Windows 7, am I right?" And it was in beta at the time.
Here we go.
Yeah, no, I think it might be Windows 7 because this was the moment where they were trying to spend their way out of the fact that Vista was just a total pile.
And I remember enough about this commercial to know it's different than the Friends thing. We have to look up whatever the Friends thing was after.
Okay.
All right, here we go. This is the bizarre anti-comedy of Team Jerry Seinfeld and Bill Gates.
I'm good. The left one's a little tight.
They'll stretch.
You sure it'll stretch?
Is that your toe?
No.
What is it?
Leather.
These are conquistador. They run very tight. You get the other one. You know what I do? I wear them in the shower. Ever wear clothes in the shower, Bill?
Never.
You're dressed, and you're clean. Open the door, go about your business. He's a 10.
10.
See how that feels.
Better.
That's a 10.
¿Es el conquistador?
Guess what, Bill? You're a 10.
Ellos van apretados.
Are you a Shoes Circus Clown Club member?
Platinum.
Pause. That is the one genuinely funny part of this.
Yeah.
Is on the card, the Circus Clown Club, whatever. Shoe Circus Clown Club is his genuine mugshot from when he got arrested for doing like 200 miles an hour or something.
What do you get with that card?
Big top points.
You know, I imagine over the years you've mind-melded your Magnum Jupiter brain to those other Saturn ring brains at Microsoft.
I have.
I'm just wondering, are they ever going to come out with something that'll make our computers moist and chewy like cake so we could just eat them while we're working?
Make our computers moist and chewy like cakes.
I mean, he turns and looks right down the barrel of the camera and says, "In 5 years, 2 words. Pornhub."
If it's yes, give me a signal. Adjust your shorts. Oh, I knew it.
Literally
Wow.
not advertising
Didn't even
any product.
Put it in the thing.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna look up this Microsoft Friends thing because.
I got to get my goddamn bird out of the kitchen.
Sure. Here. Okay, this I think was not a commercial. It was like an hour-long video with Jennifer Aniston and Matthew Perry.
GT Interactive Software. I remember a few games that open with this logo.
Welcome
it was a
to the
how to
Microsoft
use.
Yeah.
Windows 95 video guide. This unique program will help teach you how to use many of the most important features of the new Windows 95
I hope they made
operating
so much money.
Our guide is separated into 3 sections. In section 1,
Cyber
you'll get more
sitcom.
25 features. The 20 most asked questions.
starring 2
72 factoids.
We have to at least
featuring
see what
Al
the sitcom
Roker.
Jennifer and Matthew Perry. They'll be taking you on an adventure in
Let's
What
see.
was that Matthew Perry's mouth? Go back.
Windows 95. The pace is fast and funny, but don't
No.
worry if you miss anything. In section, the pace
I don't know. Maybe a pencil or something.
is familiar
No,
to your
I know.
Microsoft's 5th floor. Ladies' modems, children's shareware, and our bridal peripheral salon.
Wow. Taskbars and email and shortcuts, oh my.
Taskbars and email and shortcuts, oh my. Taskbars and email and shortcuts, oh
That was
Millions of
definitely the
dollars.
third take. They were and the director shouted, "Close enough."
That's enough.
Holy shit, though. All right, so wait, when was this? This had to be 94, 95 they shot this?
I mean,
yeah, for Windows
yeah.
95.
For Windows 95. What do you think the check was on that?
I mean,
over
at
$1 million.
At least $500,000 a piece for a full, I don't know, 30 minutes.
We don't know how long. I mean, this video is 30 minutes. There was another one that's an hour.
So Friends is only in.
They were making, I believe, each cast member was making $250,000 per episode at the height of Friends.
No, okay, yeah. So this is way at the beginning. Friends debuts in '94. So maybe they got them on the cheap.
Oh, maybe.
Well, yeah.
The Wicked Witch of Windows 95.
Okay, Myra, I'll get back to you, darling. All right, bye-bye. I heard that, and you are?
This is Jennifer Aniston. I'm Matthew
Oh, my God.
Perry.
Pause it. That actress, for years to come, gets to talk about the time that she got to upstage Matthew Perry and Jennifer Aniston. Like, on that shoot, I was the one in charge.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
You are?
This is Jennifer Aniston. I'm Matthew Perry. We're here to see Mr. Bill Gates about a possible starring role in the video guide to Microsoft Windows 95.
He's out right now, honey, but you can wait in his office.
Out?
Out? Out! But in his absence, he asked me, his loyal assistant, Bernice Keppelman, to act as host and give you a peek under the hood at Windows 95.
Oh, my God.
I was very involved in the project, you know.
Can this just be the whole Night Attack tonight? Like, I feel like we can get 2 full hours out of this.
This keeps going. There's a lot.
Yeah, we're 2 minutes and 30 seconds into this.
No, they're gonna actually go through Windows 95.
Yeah,
like this is going to be an actual demo of the operating system.
Email over the internet to my buddy Tim. He'd freak if he knew we were here.
Oh, no, not that guy in the grunge band.
Grunge, excuse me.
Grunge
it's
band.
Alternative heavy metal vinyl redux. Hello. Cool. Okay, they record on the Harsh label. I think I know his internet email address. Tim@harsh.com.
What is harsh.com now?
Oh my goodness.
All right, Brian. Porn or no? Harsh.com.
Not porn. I'm gonna say that the era of more sites being porn than not has passed.
I'm gonna say harsh.com is porn. I'll take the other side.
All right, here we go. Loading up harsh.com. This doesn't look good. GoDaddy for sale.
Yeah, for sale.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, we could call and find out the prices. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that's a lot of Matthew. Like, it's one thing you're like, okay, we did a 90-second commercial with Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. But
that's a long time.
30 minutes to there's another one of these that is an hour long. Juice. That is a lot.
Well, yeah.
Of that.
Well, I mean that's like, but all right. So imagine it more like this.
Okay.
They were stars on the make, who they knew probably at that point. I mean, because remember, Friends debuts in September of '94. Let's assume that they probably shot that either before the debut or right after. So all Microsoft really knows is that NBC's putting a lot of effort into this new show that they're debuting in a prime time slot. Other than that, like, you know, they probably got fucking paid. I mean, in the tens of thousands, like normal influencers.
even though,
because what did Aniston done before that? What did fucking Matthew Perry done before that? Jack and shit.
Jennifer Aniston. We're gonna go to Wikipedia. Okay, Friends in '94. Previously worked off Broadway. Appeared on the Howard Stern Show. She was in an uncredited role in Mac and Me. She was in Ferris Bueller. Oh, in the television adaptation of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay, so Jack and shit.
Yeah.
That's every random actor or actress's bio, right?
Yeah. Man. It is very, the huge promotional spends when it comes to like software systems. Oh, operating systems is insane. You remember, was it Vista? It must have been Vista. The whole like hold a Windows party at your house. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Well, again, yeah. I mean, well, no. I thought it was it 7 or Vista that they had the parties? I feel like it was 7.
Was it?
I feel no, because they really went hard on like they basically ran the 7 campaign as an I'm sorry for Vista.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone is.
They wanted to way outspend. They wanted to make it a big thing, so you don't even remember upgrading to Vista. All you should know is that you should really be upgrading to Windows 7.
Yeah. The sign says he bought a cake for it. Dunked on. Oh man.
I mean, at least then there was internet culture. Like, I think you can look back at that and say that that might be an inspired move. Like, you'd be more likely to see, you know, if let's say they did a massive overhaul to Fortnite, right, and they really wanted to, you know, bring attention to it, you could see them sponsoring like Fortnite parties or something like that, where they would send you a kit to you know, play together or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that. Like if it was a big, you know, it's I guess because it is so fundamental, or you know, at the time was so fundamental to how we interacted with technology and the burgeoning internet. Like, it makes sense that they would have multi-million-dollar spends like that. It's just like, imagine it now. Imagine a world where whatever the new thing after Windows 10 has some like insane ad spend. Like, I can't imagine that they would even do that. I don't know. Maybe
it would just look different. They would probably still spend as much, if not far more money. The difference is that they're going to put shit in places that we don't give a fuck. And this gets back to kind of the thing that we were talking about, where everybody has an opinion. The difference is that now you can find everybody else with that opinion and all swayable people who might have that opinion. In fact, you're constantly aligning yourself like to find those exact slipstreams. The cross end of that is that all the peripheral shit that we used to just see all the time, like you would see that fucking commercial with Jerry Seinfeld and Bill Gates because you still watched Fringe, right? And even if you were fast forwarding it on DVR, you would still see this thing. You would still get that message. Now it's like everywhere, you know? So am I going to see the TikTok ads? Am I going to see the Instagram ads? Am I going to see the Minecraft stuff or whatever? Like, probably not. Like, but that doesn't mean that they're not spending that money. They're just not spending it on one big thing.
Yeah. Alrighty. We should get started.
Yeah.
Juice, do you need to go get a drink?
Yeah, let me get some backups.
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna see if we've got any.
I believe we have some of the ciders in there.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Bonnie brought those by. Outside of that, we only have a Stash IPA, which is a fairly potent IPA. If you're not an IPA person, then it's gonna be a bit like chewing on some weeds. Okay, good. They're all gone. Finally, I get to talk to you guys directly. I don't have anything good to say. Outside of to say that I've really enjoyed the happy hours, and I hope you guys have as well. It seems like people are digging it, and we should keep on putting them in the main feed. I was just chatting with the audience about the... is there no ciders? Nah,
it's fine. I get
There's
to try
some
out
tequila. If you want a shot of tequila, I'll get you a shot of tequila. I'll be right back.
Let me clean up. Let me make some space in this vitamin water. We've been. I don't know if you ever had this vitamin water juice. I can dig this. I don't normally like flavored waters, but I like this vitamin water stuff.
I like flavored. I mean, I like fucking barely flavored water, or I mean, like I really got into the Croix shit. Although lately I've been into the Topo Chico. The only problem is that since I have to lug everything to my fucking apartment, like I don't get a big old case of Topo Chico and fucking lug it back.
Yeah. Well, what I like is that it's not a subtle. Like it tastes like I think it has a lot of flavor. That's what I like.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because that's what I like, the LaCroix and the. Oh no, I'm definitely not gonna do that. Okay, so I'll put that in here. Thank you very much. The most accomplished bartender in Austin right now, Brian.
Yeah, I'm the most popular. I've served one drink. Do better than me, assholes! I dare you.
You see, there was one bar downtown, right after they shut down all the bars, that was doing like takeout craft cocktails, and so they would give you all the pieces together, and they'd give you the instructions that at home you would go and do it.
Well, and Deviant Olive, that was how he rolls. He's got this entire on the road kit where he opens up the zip bag and he opens it up, and there's 12 different little tinctures. These are all the mixtures. So when he lands, he just gets whatever whiskey he knows he needs, and then here is one dropper of old fashioned or one dropper of whatever. And so he has all of the extra sauce on there. Also, I rode my bike by Torchy's, and the bartender is out there, doing the limited menu stuff. And I was like, you guys doing the booze thing? And then she's like, yeah. And then I watch her take a giant pre-mixed margarita mix thing, and with it is a pint of tequila, and put it in a car.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, well, I at some point, just being friendly, I asked, like, how's it going? And she goes, ah. And I was like, suddenly we all work at Sonic. Am I right? There was this look that was just like, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Apparently, I'm a Sonic. I'm missing skates. Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we start the show?
No, I'm feeling it. You can jump in.
No, let's go.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait. I gotta do one last thing. Okay.
This episode brought to you by Windows. It's a system.
It's a system. All right. Now we're ready to go.